Hello, collective. It's that time again. It's time for another exciting episode of Two Tones Twisted Tarot Tales. I'm your host and Twisted Tarot Tale Teller, Two Tone. This is the show where I deliver to you a twisted tarot tale on a public figure. So, hold on to your underwear and let's get started. Okay, Titans, it's time for another reading. And it's time for someone that is definitely currently out there and he's talked about and he's currently in play. And we should all be worried because he could be a smarter, more capable version of an orange monster. Who is this person that I'm talking about? Well, it's Ron DeSantis. Look at that guy. Look at his face. Look at that. Looks like that's the face of someone who has super hemorrhoids. It really is. Now, who is this Ron DeSantis? Ronald Dion DeSantis, born September 14th, 1978, is an American politician, attorney, and former military officer serving since 2019 as the 46th governor of Florida. A member of the Republican Party, DeSantis represented Florida's 6th congressional district in the U.S. House of Representatives from 2013 to 2018. Born in Jacksonville, DeSantis spent most of his childhood in Dunedin, Florida. He graduated from Yale University and Harvard Law School. DeSantis joined the United States Navy in 2004 and was promoted to lieutenant before serving as a legal advisor to SEAL Team 1. He was stationed at Joint Task Force Guantanamo in 2006 and was deployed to Iraq in 2007. When he returned to the U.S. a year later, the U.S. Department of Justice appointed DeSantis to serve as a special assistant U.S. attorney at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Middle District of Florida, a position he held until his honorable discharge from active military duty in 2010. DeSantis was first elected to Congress in 2012, defeating his Democratic opponent Heather Bevan. During his tenure, he became a founding member of the Freedom Caucus and was an ally of President Donald Trump. DeSantis frequently criticized the Mueller investigation led by special counsel Robert Mueller into allegations of links and/or coordination between the Trump campaign and Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. He briefly ran for U.S. Senate in 2016, but withdrew when incumbent Senator Marco Rubio sought re-election. DeSantis won the Republican nomination for the 2018 gubernatorial election and chose State Representative Janet Nunez as his running mate. In the general election, he defeated the Democratic nominee, Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum, by 0.4%, so he barely beat him. As governor, DeSantis resisted taking measures to slow the spread of COVID-19 that other state governments implemented, such as face mask mandates, stay-at-home orders, and vaccination requirements. In May 2021, he signed into law a bill that prohibited businesses, schools, cruise ships, and government entities from requiring proof of vaccination. DeSantis cut spending in Florida, which, combined with federal stimulus payments and increasing sales tax revenue in 21 through 22, led to a record state budget surplus. He engaged in recovery efforts after Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Nicole. He was re-elected in a landslide victory over Charlie Crist in the 2022 Florida gubernatorial election. His 19.4% margin of victory was the state's largest in 40 years. Alright guys, there's a whole lot to talk about when it comes to DeSantis, but I don't have a lot of time to talk about that. I'm just going to briefly go through a couple of things. Abortion. Following the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision, DeSantis pledged to expand pro-life protections. On April 14, 2022, he signed into law a bill that regulates elective abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Under the previous law, the limit had been 24 weeks. Economy. DeSantis has said that the debate over how to reduce the federal deficit should shift emphasis from tax increases to curtailing spending and triggering economic growth. He supports a no budget, no pay policy for Congress to encourage the passage of a budget. He believes the Federal Reserve System should be audited. Education. DeSantis introduced the Higher Education Reform and Opportunity Act, which would allow states to create their own accreditation systems in 2016. In an op-ed for National Review, he said his legislation would give students access to federal loan money to put towards non-traditional educational opportunities, such as online learning courses, vocational schools, and apprenticeships in skilled trades. Now, here's what's important. In June 2021, DeSantis led an effort to ban the teaching of critical race theory in Florida public schools, though it had not been a part of Florida public school curriculum. He described critical race theory as teaching kids to hate their country, mirroring a similar push by conservatives nationally. The Florida Board of Education approved the ban on June 10th. The Florida Education Association criticized the ban, accusing the board of trying to hide facts from students. Other critics claimed the ban was an effort to politicize classroom education and whitewash American history. On December 15, 2021, DeSantis announced a new bill, the Stop Wrongs to Our Kids and Employees, WOKE Act, which would allow parents to sue school districts that teach their children critical race theory. The bill is designed to combat woke indoctrination in Florida businesses and schools by preventing instruction that could make some people feel that they bear personal responsibility for historic wrongdoings because of their race, gender, or national origin, preventing instruction that teaches the individuals are inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously, and preventing instruction that teaches that groups of people are oppressed or privileged based on their race, gender, or national origin. He said of the bill, no taxpayer dollars should be used to teach our kids to hate our country or hate each other. On August 18, 2022, a Florida judge blocked the act, saying that it violates the First Amendment and is too vague. On September 14, 2021, DeSantis announced that Florida will replace the Florida Standards Assessment Test with a system of smaller tests scattered throughout the year. He said there would be 3 tests in the fall, winter, and spring, each smaller than the FSA. Florida Commissioner of Education Richard Corcoran agreed with the decision, calling it a huge victory for the school system. The new system is to be implemented by the 2022 to 2023 school year. Environment. DeSantis has called himself a Teddy Roosevelt conservationist. During his 2018 gubernatorial run, he said that he did not deny climate change's existence, but did not want to be labeled a climate change believer, adding, I think we contribute to changes in the environment, but I'm not in the pews of the global warming left. Gun law. DeSantis opposes gun control. He received an A+ rating from the National Rifle Association. He generally opposes firearm regulations, saying, very rarely do firearm restrictions affect criminals. They really only affect law-abiding citizens. Immigration. DeSantis was a critic of Obama's immigration policies. He opposed deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA, and deferred action for parents of Americans, DAPA, and accused him of failing to enforce immigration laws. DeSantis has sought to ban sanctuary cities. He co-sponsored the established mandatory minimums for Illegal Reentry Act of 2015, also known as Kate's Law, which would amend the Immigration and National Act to increase penalties applicable to aliens who unlawfully re-enter the U.S. after being removed. DeSantis
encouraged Florida sheriffs to cooperate with the federal government on immigration-related issues. In June 2019, he signed an anti-sanctuary city bill into law. Florida had no sanctuary cities before the law's enactment, and immigration advocates called the bill politically motivated. DeSantis' administration allocated $12 million for relocating migrants to other states. Law enforcement. DeSantis opposes efforts to defund the police, and as governor has introduced initiatives to fund the police. In September 2021, DeSantis introduced a $5,000 signing bonus for Florida police officers in a bid to attract additional out-of-state police recruits. LGBT rights. DeSantis has a 0 rating from the Human Rights Campaign for his voting record on LGBT-related issues and legislation. In 2018, he told the Sun-Sentinel that he doesn't want any discrimination in Florida. I want people to be able to live their life, whether you're gay or whether you're religious. What? In February 2022, DeSantis voiced his support for the Florida Parental Rights in Education Act, often denigrated as the Don't Say Gay law by its opponents, which would prohibit instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in school classrooms from kindergarten to grade 3. He said it was entirely inappropriate for teachers and school administrators to talk to students about their gender identity. DeSantis signed this bill into law on March 28, 2022, and it took effect on July 1st. This statute also includes a provision requiring school district personnel to encourage a student to discuss issues relating to his or her well-being with his or her parent, or to facilitate discussion of the issue with the parent, which applies not just to gender issues and sexuality, but also to other challenging subjects, including substance abuse and/or depression. In response to social media networks removing Trump from their platforms, DeSantis and other Florida Republicans pushed legislation in the Florida legislature to prohibit technology companies from deplatforming political candidates. A federal judge blocked the law by preliminary injunction the day before it was to take effect, on the grounds that it violated the First Amendment and federal law. When Twitter suspended DeSantis administration critic Rebecca Jones' account for violating rules against spam and platform manipulation, DeSantis' office applauded the decision, calling it long overdue. Voting rights. DeSantis expressed support for the Voting Rights Restoration for Felons initiative after it passed in November 2018, saying that he was obligated to faithfully implement it as it is defined when he became governor. After he refused to restore the voting rights for felons and unpaid fines, which voting rights groups said was inconsistent with the results of the referendum, he was challenged in court. The Florida Supreme Court sided with DeSantis on the issue, and the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit also sided with DeSantis in a 6-4 ruling. In April 2019, DeSantis directed Florida's elections chief to expand the availability of Spanish-language ballots and Spanish assistance for voters. In a statement, DeSantis said, "It is critically important that Spanish-speaking Floridians are able to exercise their right to vote without any language barriers." DeSantis instructed Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody to investigate allegations of voter fraud perpetrated by former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg after he announced a $16 million investment to pay off the financial obligations for felons so they may vote ahead of the 2020 presidential election in Florida. The allegations asserted Bloomberg had broken the law by offering incentives to vote. After the 2020 U.S. elections, DeSantis and other Republicans proposed changes to Florida election laws. DeSantis called for eliminating ballot drop boxes, as well as limiting voting by mail by requiring the voters re-register every year to vote by mail and requiring that signatures on mail-in ballots must match the most recent signature on file, rather than any of the voters' signatures in the Florida system. The changes to mail-in voting were notable given that Republicans had historically voted by mail more than Democrats. but Democrats outvoted Republicans by mail in 2020. According to a Tampa Bay Times analysis, DeSantis' signature match proposal could have led to rejections of his own mail-in ballots due to changes in his signature history over time. Voting rights experts argue that the signature matching proposal could be used to disenfranchise voters whose signatures varied over time. All right, guys, so we're going to be doing a reading for horrible Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. But first, let's look at some of the headlines. This is Ron DeSantis. I guess this is his own site, or floridagovernor.com. Okay. Governor Ron DeSantis highlights recovery efforts following. Today, Governor Ron DeSantis visited Fort Myers to highlight recovery efforts following Hurricane Ian in the 6 months since Hurricane Ian made landfall. News for Jax. Governor DeSantis visits Fort Myers to highlight hurricane recovery. Ron DeSantis held a news conference Friday at the Oxbow Bar and Grill in Fort Myers, where he talked about the progress of the area recovery. Fox 4 News. Ron DeSantis holds press conference. Politico. Who said it? Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump? Gainesville, Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis is also often called Trump 2.0 for his embrace of conservative policies and his take-no-prisoner style of politics. The Daily Beast. Ron DeSantis' aloof persona, odd demands already. At any given fundraiser or VIP room where he's present, Ron DeSantis is usually easy to find in the corner, keeping to himself. Wall Street Journal. Opinion. Do you want to get a beer with Ron DeSantis? Peggy Noonan makes the point that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis isn't regarded as warm and cuddly, even by his supporters. Ron DeSantis is definitely running away from everything good. Okay, I'm not going to keep reading Ron DeSantis' headlines. Washington Post. Did Ron DeSantis really flip-flop on Russia? Anyone who expected Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to echo Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's position on the Ukraine war, that it is the single whatever. Okay, so there's some of the headlines. I'm in a place where the Wi-Fi is bad. And if I click on number 2, oh, I did get a second page. So let's see here. I'm gonna skip everything Ron DeSantis because he's dumb. Okay, so the Texas Tribune. Texas's U.S. Representative Chip Roy, who was an asshole, says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to be 2024 Republican presidential nominee. Okay, New York Times. DeSantis on defense shows signs of slipping in polls. Excuse me, guys. It's been a tough few months for Ron DeSantis. Donald Trump and his allies have blasted him as Meatball Ron, Ron DeSanctimonious, a groomer. And I think the other thing Donald Trump called Ron DeSantis is Tiny D. I like that. It's a good name for him. New York Magazine. Ron DeSantis can't decide how to pronounce his own name, but in a video posted by the House Oversight Committee in November 2016, he introduces himself as Ron DeSantis, when DeSantis, whatever. Washingtonian. Ron DeSantis is allegedly the latest politician with unhinged diarrhea. Some truly damning material has turned up on Florida governor and potential presidential candidate Ron DeSantis. So let's see what this is about. This is from the Washingtonian. What does it say? Potential, truly damning material. Let's see. Hopefully it'll let us get to it. This is from the Washingtonian. Look at that. See, I'm trying to get this wireless connection, and it's not any good. See, I'm gonna pause it now. So it looks like he has unhinged eating habits, and that looks like a big bowl of diarrhea there. That's Ron DeSantis' problem. So, but let's get a reading going for this guy. This horrible Florida governor here. Tarot in Wonderland deck, come to my hand. Haha, yeah. All right, guys, I've already shuffled it 300 times. This will be another shuffle on camera. I am once again in a tightly cramped place. I'm up against a wall. The lighting's not good. And it's sort of a hole in the wall where I'm at. But let's get a past, present, and future. Universe, what can you tell us for the past, present, and future of Ron DeSantis? Whoa, we got one already. That looks like the Empress card. So for the first card for Ron DeSantis's past is the Empress card. And this is the bottom card for the first card for Ron DeSantis's past. That is the Four of Wands. Okay, universe, we need another card for Ron DeSantis's past. Whoa, you see that? Okay, so the next card for Ron DeSantis's past is the Eight of Pentacles. So let's go ahead and put that right there. And what is the bottom card for the Eight of Pentacles? Whoa, another 8 card. The Eight of Swords. Okay, universe. We need 2 cards to tell us about Ron DeSantis's present. Whoa. That is the Nine of Swords, and that is a nightmare card. So currently, Ron DeSantis is having nightmares, which I think that's wonderful. I think that's just great. Look at his face. Look at his horrible face. That's why he's making that face. I think it's a combination of nightmares and hemorrhoids. And the bottom card for that card is the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, universe, let's get another card for Ron DeSantis's present. Whoa. Should I take both of these? Looks like I'm going to be taking both of those. This is the first card to hit. It is the Knight of Cups. That is the second card for Ron DeSantis's present. And then this card landed like this. Whoa, the Ten of Swords, which is a card of betrayal, doom, destruction, and despair, and backstabbing. But it landed like this. So that's for Ron DeSantis's present. Okay, and the bottom card for that is the Six of Cups. This is supposed to be like a nostalgic twin flame card, like a love card of some kind. So maybe he got betrayed. He's got nightmares about it. Okay, universe. We need 2 cards for Ron DeSantis's future. Whoa. Ace of Swords. That's a pretty good card. Okay. That's the first card for Ron DeSantis's future. So, what's the bottom card? Oh, being out in the cold. The Five of Pentacles. So, somehow he might survive with thought, thinking, writing, intelligence. He might survive being out in the cold. That's interesting. One more card. Universe, we need one more card for Ron DeSantis' future. Oh, another swords card. The Knight of Swords. Okay, so that is going to be his future there. Look at that. And what's the bottom card? Let's see. Whoa, the High Priestess. That is either the bottom card for the Knight of Swords or for the whole reading or his future. But the Empress is a pretty good card. But you know what? We're going to get some descriptions of what these cards are. So, Tarot and Wonderland book, come to my hand. Haha, yeah. Okay, so we need to find the Empress. So this is the first card in Ron DeSantis's past. Let's see, what is the Empress all about? In a reading, the Empress is the knowledge of deep love for the workings of the natural world and all that reside within it. It is also desire to share that understanding to help others move more comfortably through their lives. It is also the wisdom that everything there is a season, and if there is no jam today, we can live in hope of jam tomorrow. And just as surely as the sun rises and sets each day, spring will follow winter, abundance will follow lean times, and death will follow life. Keywords: abundance, fertility, creativity, pleasure, beauty, happiness, comfort, nature, motherhood, mother, nurturing, love, pregnancy, and generosity. The next card for Ron DeSantis's past is the Eight of Pentacles. So let's see here. In a reading, this card shows the rewards of hard work and diligent practice. In our world of hacks and instant experts, the tradition of dedication to honing a craft has fallen out of favor. However, it seems that our infatuation with fast and good enough is finally waning, and we are starting to rediscover the joys and satisfactions of high quality work and polishing skills. This card shows the single most important way to achieve that: practice. Materials and teaching will only get us so far. Hands-on experience and making lots of mistakes are the best ways to become really good at anything, including, by the way, reading tarot. Keywords: work, skill, craftsmanship, artisan, diligence, dedication, focus, drive, determination, steady progress, satisfying work, attention to detail. Okay, so the first card for DeSantis's present is the Nine of Swords. I'm trying to avoid that glare, guys. It's hard, huh? The Nine of Swords. In a reading, this card describes those nights we all hate. We can't sleep because we are worried about something. So many things can cause this, such as hemorrhoids, regret over an action or careless word, a bad decision, an upcoming confrontation, or disastrous possibilities that may or may not even occur. If the problems that plague you are things that you can do something about, then get out of bed, make a list, and write out what you will do the next day, Ron DeSantis. Maybe you need to apologize to someone like the American people and all those people you kidnapped and had them dropped off at the vice president's house. Perhaps you can revise or alter a decision you made, like buying those white boots. Role-playing can help plan for a difficult conversation. Worrying about possible worst-case futures can be more difficult, although you can also spend your energy figuring out what you would do if the worst happens, rather than just worrying about whether it will or not. Swords is the suit of logic and planning. Knowing that these nights come to all of us, experiment with techniques until you find one that works for you. That helps you find repose in the face of uncertainty, Ron DeSantis. It is easy to let our thoughts control us, like all those times Donald Trump keeps calling you Tiny D, but they are just thoughts. You can choose to let them pass by or let them come in and take over. Keywords: obsessive thoughts, sleeplessness, nightmares, regret, worries, guilt, despair, oppression. The next card in Ron DeSantis' present is the Knight of Cups. In a reading, this knight represents someone sweet, creative, and dreamy. Like the other knights, he does focus intensely on his goal, but because he lives in a kind of between world state, we can't always see or understand what he is doing. Consequently, it is easy for him to be misunderstood. Luckily, he is more concerned with whatever he is working on to care much what others think about him. This is Ron DeSantis, I think. If you want to catch his attention, appeal to his commitment to the kind of truth he values. The truth is beauty, kind. Not necessarily that. I gotta reread that. If you want to catch his attention, appeal to his commitment to the kind of truth he values. The truth is beauty kind. Not necessarily these are the facts kind. Yeah, see, DeSantis doesn't care about facts. Show him how his participation can really help someone in need or serve a greater ideal. Don't expect things from him that he can't give. He'll never be a take charge person or a natural leader, but he will be a true friend and support you with every bit of his vast heart. Keywords: focused, goal-oriented, short attention span, dreamer, committed, idealistic, romantic. The last card in Ron DeSantis' present is the infamous Ten of Swords. And I think that this card was in my deck upside down. So he got it upside down. In a reading, this card shows that finally the thing we feared has happened. In a way, it is a relief because at least now it is over. For some people, the anticipation is worse than the actual event. Now that the moment has passed, it is time to think about picking ourselves up, dusting ourselves off, and regrouping. The sky gives us two messages. First, when read as a sunset, it reminds us that the situation we hope to avoid is over. Second, when read as a sunrise, it encourages us with a fresh start and a new day. We can collect ourselves, attend to our wounds, and move on. If we are wise, we will analyze the situation and see if we can learn any lessons so that we can avoid similar circumstances in the future. Even if we discover that we could have done something differently, it is important not to beat ourselves up over it and end up revisiting the Nine of Swords, which he's having happen right now. But rather make a commitment to not making the same mistake again. Keywords: surrender, ending, disaster, defeat, ruin, stop fighting, giving in, giving up, acknowledging, and ending. See, and I think since it's reversed, it's not fully ending. It's continuing, which is great. The first card in Ron DeSantis' future is the Ace of Swords. In a reading, the Ace of Swords indicates a realization that can change your way of thinking. Sorry about that, guys. It can be the answer to a difficult problem, an insight that broadens your horizons, or an idea that could change the world, or your little corner of it, Tiny D. You are reminded to use this gift gently. Tread softly on the earth and on the hearts and minds of your fellow beings. Keywords: logic, intellect, reason, truth, victory, decision, clarity, action plan, justice, knowledge, communication. And the last card for Ron Tiny D DeSantis' future is the Knight of Swords. In a reading, the Knight of Swords is someone who has reverence for logic, facts, truth, and justice. Once he is convinced that something is right, he will defend it vigilantly. His defense can be practical, but he excels in communication and shows his skills to best effect in speaking or writing. His biggest problem is that once he has been convinced, then it is hard to unconvince him. That is to say, once he decides something is true, that becomes more important than the actual quest for truth. See, that's exactly Ron DeSantis. He thinks that critical race theory shouldn't be taught. First of all, it's not even really being taught. And he wants to ban it from being taught, even though it's not being taught. So he thinks what is true is not true. Also, while he can speak and write well, he doesn't necessarily have the charisma of the Wands court and can sound pedantic. If you must cross swords with him, see, Tiny D likes to sword fight, huh? Forget emotion and ethics. Facts and logic, even philosophy, are the best tools. To get him on your side, appeal to his reason or admit that you cannot solve a certain problem, that the challenge is simply beyond you, and that it may be beyond solving at all. He'll happily rise to the challenge. Keywords: focused, goal-oriented, short attention span, serves truth and justice, dogmatic, relies on facts and logic. Okay, so those were the descriptions of the cards. So now we need to get a clarification of these cards. Two Tones Infernal Deck, come to my hand. Haha, yeah.
What have we here?
You know what, guys? I just realized I forgot to cut the decks. I forgot to cut the last deck. So let's cut this one in 4. Man, I wish I could just kind of get on a good routine here, but it's not easy, guys. I have to travel around to different places and try to film this show. Okay, universe, we need clarification for Ron DeSantis' past. Did you see that? It fell right off this podium I'm on. Hold on, it fell on the ground. It landed on the ground like that, okay? So it's stealth. So in the past, he had some stealth. Okay, so let's get a clarification for Ron DeSantis' present. Whoa. came out pretty fast. I don't know if you guys saw that. Apathy. So presently he's apathetic, which makes sense. Okay, so let's get a clarification for Ron DeSantis' future. Whoa. Begin. So it looks like his future just might be beginning. That's interesting. So, I'm pretty sure Ron DeSantis has some demons hanging around him. So let's find out. Occult tarot, come to my hand. Haha, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna shuffle these and then we'll cut them. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of speeding up a little bit, huh? I don't know, I might be moving kind of fast because I have another reading I need to do. Another Tiny D coming up pretty soon here. But okay, so what demon or demons are hanging around Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, aka Tiny D? Whoa, look at that. Andromalius, associated with the Seven of Swords. Oh, I haven't read it yet, huh? Andromalius returns items and punishes thieves, reveals hidden treasures. Okay, so let's see. Let's get it. I know there's more. Okay, universe, what other demons are hanging around Ron DeSantis? Whoa. Halfas, associated with the Two of Swords. Builds towers and provides weapons and ammunition. Sends soldiers to appointed places. That's interesting. I bet you there's more. Let's find another one. I know there's at least one more. These fools they're swimming in demons. And typically they got at least 3. So let's see really quick. Okay, universe, what other demon is hanging around Florida Governor Ron DeSantis? Aha. Oh, yeah. This is one of the big ones. One of the really, 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 really big ones. Baphomet, associated with the magician. Gives health and financial prosperity. Connects one safely with the divine. That's interesting. So he's got his past, he was very fertile, and he was very fertile with considering what he considers to be good work, and he was stealthy about it. He was real stealthy about being fertile with his thorough, horrible work. In the present, he's got nightmares, which he deserves. And he is going through a reverse tower, and he's apathetic about it. And in the future, he's gonna looks like a pretty good future. Okay, he's got an ace and a knight of swords, so there's a lot of thinking and thought involved, and probably a lot of writing, and this seems to be just beginning. And the Andromalius demon is hanging around him, and Halfas and Baphomet is hanging around him. So I think this is going to wrap up this quick reading for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. So thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. And until next time, I'll see you later.
Can't believe this is happening. We can't take 3 steps back, but that seems to be the case. It's hard to ignore when it's thrown in your face. So you think this is the definition of an American? Where the fuck have you been? Tell me, where have you been? I say, fuck these alt-right pricks. Who the fuck do they think they are? We can claim this is our land, but we ourselves are immigrants. Ihr sagt nun Sieg heil, ja, ich lach mich tot. Ihr versteht nicht, was ihr sagt. Wenn es das Reich noch geben, werde es nach euch auf der Jagd. Ja, ihr seid nicht das Herrenvolk. Ihr seid outback white trash, hillbillies and suits. No, this place don't belong to only you. No, it doesn't belong to me or you. Fuck these Nazi pricks. Who the fuck do they think they are? We can't claim this is our land, but we ourselves are immigrants. I say fuck these alt-right pricks. Who the fuck do they think they are? We can't claim this is our land, but we ourselves are immigrants. America, 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 it's time to wake up. America, 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 it's time to wake up. I can't believe this is happening. Man, we're way off track. Now we got law and order at imaginary borders. It's time to move forward, not 80 years back. Fuck you, Nazi pricks. Who the fuck do you think you are? We can't claim this is our land, but we ourselves